Hey y'all, now we're going to take a look at the Tampa Bay Derby and just want to preface before we look at this. Anybody who played Tampa Bay Downs yesterday on Saturday knows that there was a heavy duty early speed bias. Any horse who got on the lead won. I think the only one that there were two. There was a maiden where there was a runaway leader that got chased down by a 20-1 shot, and Most Wanted got caught by Skippy Longstocking, but they were well clear of everybody else. And for pretty much every race, any horse who was on the lead was way ahead of everybody in the stretch. So the track was definitely playing to early speed. We want to remember that when we take a look at this race. No horse could close and come from behind to catch the leaders yesterday. And particularly from the outside was not the place to be. And I think you'll see that to be the case in this race. So let's just review the field real quickly. We got Owen Almighty on the rail in number 1 hole, Chance McPatrick number 2, Hill Road number 3, Brodeur number 4, Filoso number 5, Naughty Rascal number 6, and Patch Adams outside number 7. So let's have a look at it.
And the race is on in the Lamb Home.
You see, they all got away pretty well. Patch Adams was a little slow.
To the inside, Brodeur flashing,
but you see, he's trying to make up for that.
Wants to join the party up on the outside.
And you just get the inkling here that, they know the way the track's been playing, and that where you want to be is up on the rail in the lead.
From that 6th position.
Owen Almighty normally would rate, but it was smart. The right move. Exactly the right thing to do.
In the second spot goes
Brodeur. He's comfortable.
McPatrick stays toward the inside.
See, Chance McPatrick a lot more forwardly placed, and you see that little glitch there for Patch Adams. I'm still not sure what happened. There looked like maybe he took a bad step or something. But he did re-rally and get back into the race. And
right to that one's outside.
Honestly, I don't know how much of a difference it made because he was just in the wrong place to be on the track, trying to close from the outside. It just wasn't the place to be.
48 seconds flat for the opening half mile. Owen Almighty, Irad Ortiz Jr., Brodeur, Jose Ortiz, brothers at war past the 3/8 pole. They're a length
and a half. You see Filoso trying to make a move, just like he did at 2.
Filoso starting to launch
but
up on
again,
the outside of Patch
wrong
Adams.
place to be on the track.
But
it improved effort. Let's see what he does in his next race. He might actually be progressing. But he's just flattened out right there. Same with Patch Adams. Just nowhere to go. Just the wrong place to be. And Owen Almighty's in the right place. And you see Chance McPatrick really didn't have much of an excuse. And Hill Road closing pretty well. But just no deal with Owen Almighty.
Chance McPatrick was second, third one.
So let's grade him out.
Patch Adams fourth. Owen Almighty putting on a show, taking the.
Okay, so grading this one out, we've got to remember that there was a big time speed bias on the track. So. Really, any horse who was coming from behind, I don't know how honestly we can evaluate them because they were working against a bias. It would be certainly in their favor if they closed against it and were still able to get on top. But then you have to think about those horses that won with the speed bias. We maybe downgrade a little bit. Owen Almighty, we're going to give an A because... Why? Simply, he ran the race he was supposed to run that day. He got to the lead, and that was the place to be on the inside, and he did his job. Do I think he has progressed necessarily from the Sam F. Davis? No. I think he took advantage of a favorable track condition, and he did what a good horse should do. He's a really nice horse. I still don't think he is a two-turn horse. But he ran the race he was supposed to run, and so he gets an A. Chance McPatrick, I'm going to give a B. Why? First time off the bench, working against a bias, and trying a new running style, and I thought he ran okay. He ran, he gets a B. He ran okay coming off the bench. Now, the thing that bothers me is, and I really wanted to downgrade him a little more than I did, was that if he's really the horse he's supposed to be, he should have been able to catch Owen Almighty and have something in the tank to go get him, kind of like Skippy Longstocking did with Most Wanted. He was right there. He had no excuses whatsoever. He was on the best part of the track on the inside, and he couldn't get to him. And again, let's also mention Owen Almighty, has some distance limitations, and I think the track allowed him to run longer yesterday. So, but it was an okay effort because he was trying something new, trying to be a little more forwardly placed, a little more involved coming off the bench. So I'll give Chance and McPatrick a B, but I kind of think it more ought to be like a B minus or even a C plus. The bias is going to allow me to keep him up at a B. Hill Road, pretty much same thing. He really didn't have much of a chance the way the track was playing, but coming off the bench, he did show some pretty good turn of foot late, and on a track that plays more fairly, I think he would have had a much better chance in the race. To be honest, I wasn't that real keen on his win chances because of the way Tampa Downs normally plays. But with blinkers, and I've always thought he's more of a Derby prospect than Chance McPatrick is, and I still kind of believe it. I want to see what he does in his next race. I think both of them will likely progress, and if they can get on a fairer track, then we'll really know what we've got with those two. So really hard to judge them from the Tampa Bay Derby. Brodeur, I think, did what he was supposed to do, what he wanted to do. He got up till he couldn't get the lead from Owen Almighty, but he did hang around. But he doesn't belong on the Derby Trail right now. He's might be a good horse later, but right now, no. And so C minus because he did what he wanted to do. He ran his race. It wasn't good enough. So I didn't think he ran badly. He just was outclassed. That's really what it came down to. Filoso gets a C because he was coming off the bench with blinkers. And again, he tried to make that early move. And I think under better circumstances, more to the inside or a track that wasn't unfavorable to outside runners, we might have got a better impression of what Filoso is. Right now, it was kind of hard because it was the worst part of the track and on a track that was speed favoring. So I'm going to give him a C. I want to see another race out of him. I think he made a positive step. And we'll see what he does in his next start. But I'm not throwing him out by any means. Naughty Rascal, D+. He tried to run up amongst the leaders. He's not a two-turn horse. We knew that going in. I think he had a valiant effort. And I'll love him a lot more when he goes around one turn in the Woody Stevens or the Pat Day Mile, wherever he ends up next. But he gets a D+ because he was running out of his element. And, he tried, but gets a plus for that. But that's it. He just doesn't belong. Patch Adams, to me, was disappointing to a degree in that I think the fact that he broke a little slow really hurt his chances because he couldn't get up amongst the leaders. Second thing, I don't know what happened on the backstretch. He had some bad step or something. I don't know that impacted his performance terribly much. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The outside was nowhere to be, and trying to close into the pace from the outside was just nowhere to be on the track. I mean, and clearly it showed because you could see him trying to make an effort up around the turn and just flattened right out because the track just wasn't working for him. I tend to blame that more for the disappointment than I do anything else because he looked like he wanted to run his race, but he just couldn't do it from where he was. However, he also may be not quite as good as we think. I'm not going to discount that either. So a C minus. Again, he had a lot of things against him in the race, and I wouldn't necessarily throw him out based upon that performance in his next effort, should there be one. But I will say this, if Brad Cox does what he does and he sends him to the Wood Memorial, then I'll think he's probably not as good. Because we've seen him do that before. He tends to send his JV up to Aqueduct. We'll see. So, in sum, it's to me, it's a hard race to to really gauge the most of the runners in here for the reasons stated. You know, it just was a very speed favoring track that day. Do I want anybody out of this race moving forward on the Derby Trail? Not sure. I kind of downplayed. I wasn't a big fan of Chance McPatrick before the race, and I'm still not. I think if he really had some special quality, I think he probably could have factored a little bit more. I mean, he could have been up right amongst Owen Almighty. However, it was his first off the bench, and we do know Chad Brown doesn't tune him up all the way. So we have that to consider as well. So I'll give him another bite at the apple. Hill Road, same thing. Really the only ones that I would just absolutely, without a doubt, toss are Brodeur and Naughty Rascal. The others, we've got to see another race on a track that plays fairer. But I would also say this: Owen Almighty, my opinion hasn't changed. I just think he took advantage of a track that was in his favor, and he had everything his way. And he did what a good horse is supposed to do. But is he going to do that at 1.25 miles? I don't think so. And I would be very surprised if he runs another race, wherever he goes next at 1.125 miles. I think that's where you're going to see that the limitations really show up. I think the track was very much in his favor on Saturday. So that's the Tampa Bay Derby. Interesting race. It's hard to know what to do with it, as I mentioned. So we'll see what happens next week. We've got more Derby preps loading up, and can't wait to cover those. So be on the lookout for more content from Right at the Wire in that regard. We'll have our Derby top 10 list. Probably this is Sunday, later on this evening. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know how much it's going to change after this weekend, but we'll see. Haven't taken a look at it yet. Certainly, if you do like content like this, of course, please like and subscribe. Thanks to all of you who have come on board. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.